Hello guys, we're back for another reaction video for you guys here. We haven't uploaded in the whole week. Sorry about that because we got another video dropping out this week coming up. So we're watching a YouTuber named The Moon. I don't know, it's just called Moon. I used to watch one of his old videos about the finance, about the Terra Lunas, all the incidents, the FTX collapse. And right now we're watching Why is Gen Z Slowly Giving Up? So let's get right into it and let's watch it.
Same path your parents have traveled, and they love telling you about how much easier the journey is today, and that all you need to do is keep walking. The milestones stretch out in front of you, landmarks that your parents reached as part of their journey, but as the years go by and the road stretches out, they just seem further and further away. Sometimes a storm blows in and you have to wait for it to pass, or the road turns to mud and it feels like you're trudging through a swamp. Eventually you look up and you realize that you've gotten no further than you were a day, a month, or a year ago. There's a very good reason Gen Z is the most apathetic, cynical, and detached generation in living history. Just look at the hand they've been dealt. It's so much harder today to find a meaningful relationship, buy a home, start a family, get a good job, and generally live your life. With each rung on the ladder getting further apart, you can't blame people for doubting if the climb is worth it. Participation in society used to be based on an underlying deal. If you paid attention at school, worked hard, and treated people with respect, eventually everything would fall into place. Society had set structures which guaranteed that the people who followed the rules would actually get something out of it. A home, a family, a purpose, something which maybe added meaning to their lives. But over the past few decades, all of that was systematically stripped away. It was the lie we were told growing up. Everyone has to grow up, but the breaking of that illusion has been particularly traumatic to Gen Z. As children we were told we could do anything, and that the world was a place where all of this would come true. But the reality that we actually grew into was far from a paradise, and the way we learnt about it was like diving straight into the deep end. Just a few hundred years ago, the things people learnt and knew about the world fit neatly together. People learnt about the world from the people around them, and they built their own beliefs based entirely on their own small world. Structure and traditions were handed down to you and your community, and then it all got thrown into chaos. The Enlightenment and the Scientific Revolution destroyed the foundations of these religious and traditional worldviews. People's worldviews expanded, and their lives got more complicated. As religion lost its dominant role, ideology came in to replace it. As the world slowly modernized, traditional communities struggled to survive.
See, look, right there, they went against religion. This is stupid because they just got, I don't know what the heck, why. Look, this is part of the schisms. People just said, oh, they're basically thinking they're better than religion now. They're saying that's an old system, and then they say we want our own new way, and then they think about what's it called, democracy,
liberals,
which came from what I think they say the Greek philosophy and all that, because they say Greek philosophy basically founded the Western civilization, how it is to be. And then at first it wasn't like that, and then as time passed, as you can see,
now they are going against religion stuff.
And traditional structures in society were replaced by ideological ones.
Yeah,
People's allegiance and place shifted from their community to their nation state and the ideas they stood for. Even into the 20th century though, your view of the world could still remain consistent. Most people still had a clear path for their lives, and a clear way of thinking about life shared among the people they knew. The internet and access to mass media from across the world has blown all of this away. Instead of one belief system dominating our lives, there's thousands of false desires for us to pick and choose from. Instead of consistent shared experience, we've been exposed to millions of different people's subjective views on life. By the time they're 12 years old, kids today have been plunged headfirst into the shifting sea of ideas. Millions of judgments and opinions about what's right or wrong, how you should act, and what's either desirable or disgusting. It's easy for people to retreat into this world of information. The philosopher and sociologist Jean Baudrillard describes this world as hyperreality, a sort of world beyond worlds, made up of meanings behind objects and people rather than what they actually are. Things and concepts which exist in the real world like beauty, tragedy, virtue, and vice all get warped and maximized. Beautiful people become impossibly perfect with computer editing and filters. Every crisis from around the world is suddenly right in front of you until it's quickly replaced by something else. The craziest outbursts and the most violent altercations right top. These forces are most noticeable in people's sexual identity and preferences. Overstimulation and seeing all of your desires digitalized eventually gets boring for people. The more immersed in hyperreality they become, the harder it is for them to quench these desires. Everything becomes more and more extreme and detached from actual reality. Baudrillard describes this hyperreal world as being far more intense and ecstatic than the real world we live in. People find themselves fleeing the desert of the real for this digital world of symbols and subjectivity. But even if you don't get so caught up in hyperreality, it still changes the world around you. People's values and beliefs shift to reflect their ever-changing window into public opinion. Objects and people gain value according to how they're regarded in this hyperreality, as opposed to their actual value. They become symbols. Eventually, as we're seeing today, the hyperreal world begins to replace the real one entirely. If people act based on hyperreality,
this is true. I would say if you're really sucked in of the digital world, like you're pretending you're going out, let me get some groceries, or let me go to the mall, or let me go visit the park. You view the world differently if you're sucked into it. Like if you're not addicted to those things like social media and like all these things, you feel more like fulfilled in life. Like I'm living life. I love life.
Yeah.
And the digital world is like, you feel sad when you're in the real world. Like you just pretend you're in digital, you have all that stuff, you're doing everything. But then when you go out, let's say, let's go to the grocery, you feel like so off.
Yeah.
You're so disconnected.
And you know what they do?
Yeah.
They order online for people to get their groceries at home. Like they do Uber.
Yeah.
What else? They do that.
I feel like now. Look,
thing in
I feel like now
Walmart.
people are afraid to go outside and get some groceries.
Yeah.
Like what the heck is going on?
Yeah, same thing with fast food.
Yeah.
People
like before COVID, the fast food people
Yeah. I mean,
dining,
yeah,
the
okay.
dining. It was
It's
the
true.
COVID.
Look,
Screw it.
COVID, yeah, COVID did. Do
Yeah,
a big
because
part.
right before when we were little, even when we were little, like the 14, 15, 16, we go dining. There's people there
Yeah,
eating,
it's more stuff.
and now
That was
it's
sad.
so dead. Even McDonald's is dead
Yeah,
now, bro. It was not like that
Yeah,
before.
because I always see the drive-throughs stacked.
Yeah, now
and
it's
then
that.
people going inside it's empty.
Yeah, it's like it's telling you it's ridiculous.
and social status within it, then it starts to dominate life itself. Parts of life like fashion, which were already based in symbolism and underlying meanings, show the most severe effects of this. It's only in a hyperreal world that the brand Supreme could make a literal brick with their logo carved into it, which would then later sell online for over $1,000. Living in this world, and especially growing up in it, makes it much harder for people to find actual meaning. When everything only has value based on shifting opinions and an invisible social hierarchy, nothing has any permanent meaning behind it. This hyperreality becomes all the more tempting when you put down the phone and take a real look at today's world.
Yeah.
Following the advice of the people who came before us doesn't work too well. The world has changed so much in recent history that
what he just said is amazing. Look,
Yeah.
everyone, go look at what people said back then, because that's where you get the people. Look, when the people read on things what people said back then and how they lived their lives,
They're more happy and peaceful. Why we need to learn things the ones that are miserable?
Yeah, like,
and
look,
the ones that
like
they're living the lifestyles
the
back then.
Bible, right? For example, people are reading it. Yes, you read it, but look, when you read the Bible, you get different interpretations. There's like thousands, and this is why a lot of denominations came out of
It's
nowhere.
like old history back in the days
and then
before
you gotta
all the
look
media.
at the people from back then, what they taught, what they said about this book.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, so basically they interpreted in that way. It's like basically the way how it was then compared to what some people do.
Yeah.
the roadmap they followed just doesn't work anymore. Finding someone special, settling down, buying a home and having children just isn't feasible for most people. And the root of the problem is economic. When you look at what it takes to reach these integral parts of life today compared to 20 or 50 years ago, it puts it all into perspective. Let's start with the US. Here's the home price to median household income ratio over time. It measures how many years it would take, saving all the money the average American household earns, to buy a family home. From 1965 to 2000, it hovered around 3.5 to 4.5, a healthy ratio that meant that homes were usually within the reach for most people, which isn't the case today at all. After years of stagnating wages, greedy bankers playing the system, and a pandemic, we're closing in on 8. It would take 8 years of wages to buy just one home. The UK is even worse off on average. They blew past 8 years in 2015. Now it would take 9 years of wages to buy one house. In the big cities, it's even worse. To buy the average home in LA and comfortably pay the mortgage, you need to make over $220,000. In New York, the median house price is equivalent to over 10 years of income for the average household. A London family would need a staggering 16 years of uninterrupted wages to buy a house outright. The cities that young people move to for work, and high wages end up being far harder to get a foothold in. And all of this is so important because owning a home is the foundation for a traditional life. Living paycheck to paycheck and paying off someone else's mortgage means there's barely a safety net at all. It's dangerous for people to live their lives because it's just too expensive in our society. Adding in childcare costs makes it clear why very few people are even having children anymore. Is it really a surprise the West is facing a giant population collapse? Of course.
See, like what I'm seeing, like thing like the families, to me, like I would say this, the government economy are destroying families as well because the prices is too high. How are you going to grow your economy? The government. How are you going to grow when there's less kids? People are not satisfied. Yeah. They're not getting married. You know, they're not getting a good, like the not paying them like good amount. It's because it's, to me, it's unbalanced now. The sheets is unbalanced. Yeah. It's like saying this. Oh, this job can pay your bills like good. You'd be fairly income. Now no more. Now you're losing debt. It's like you're losing money by money by money.
Yeah, like to me, look, this house, for example, like, you know, we have neighborhoods.
Yeah. They cost special. It's not
neighborhoods. Look, a house, a home, what you need is just maybe 1 or 2 rooms.
Yeah.
And a kitchen and, you know, restroom.
That's it.
That's it. This, look, okay.
It's still expensive.
More family.
Yeah, family.
There's gonna be more. You need more space. But like, if you're like, I don't know, with, I don't know, like couple kids, I don't know. Mm-hmm. There's no point in getting a big boy house.
There's no point.
Maybe like when did neighborhoods begin? Like, is it fairly new?
Like thing is new. Like, it was started in the 1990s. I think it got
80s had neighborhoods.
No, it had 80s, but I feel
70s had neighborhoods.
But I feel like the most it got more is after the Great Depression, because the Depression did a big delay, didn't make anything. Mm-hmm. So I think after the Great Depression, they started making houses crazy. That's why the economy got stronger in the 1950s and 60s. It was strong in USA in those eras.
The 20s was their peak before.
But I'm talking about during the rebuild from that crash after the 20s, ever since that from the World War, after they recovered. To me, that's how USA started growing. To me, USA would start growing crazy amount in the 50s through all the way to the 80s. That's how they find oil, all that stuff.
And then you see, we build
stuff like a house like this now, like back then, like maybe 10 years ago, it's probably like 70K.
Yeah. But look.
And now it's like 300K.
When you look at people back then, how they lived. I want to use the Middle East, for example, because they have a lot of kids there.
Yeah.
They don't have neighborhoods like that.
Yeah, they don't.
And they live
only America.
Yeah, like it's kind of to me, it's kind of ridiculous.
It's like a, I'm gonna say weird. It's like the slave house.
What?
Like these neighborhood houses, like they're all identical.
Yeah, like everyone look.
It's basically built. To me, these are basically built for 9 to 5 people.
Yeah, like it's kind of the Middle East and where they live. They're like they survive there. And this look, it costs a lot of money to build all this. Yeah. And then you're gonna still have to pay rent unless you pay it all off.
Inflation has meant that everything's gotten so much more expensive. Corporate profiteering and price gouging haven't helped either. But as everything has gotten more expensive, wages have continued to stagnate for most. Since 1979, the bottom 90% of the US saw their income rise by around 24% adjusting for inflation. Meanwhile, it doubled for the top 1% of the country. Hyper-reality has distracted people from this. They still know it's happening. Everyone's feeling the effects. But with the constant assault of useless information you're powerless to do anything about, it just gets swallowed up by the constant cycle. It acts as a release valve for people's rightful outrage. Real anger and emotions that would have been converted into real action end up in cyberspace instead. There they join.
Why?
To me, this is a plan. They really want to make this technology S tier. That's what you don't want to think about the real world. See, when you look into it, you have to be fully awake. This is why I feel like now the phones, all that stuff, they really made this to distract because they know what's going to happen.
Look, to me, why is inflation a thing? To me, it makes no sense.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
Why the heck are prices going up? What's the reason of it?
I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, if there's a what's it called? If there's a economist guy in here, explains to me that, or I gotta look it up. I don't know. Like, why couldn't we stay where it was back then, like the same price and the same wage? Is it because people
greed?
Is it because people say I want more money?
Greed, I guess.
And then the prices also have to go up.
Yeah, I think
is
it's
that
greed.
why the
I think it's
people
greed.
complain?
Yeah, because they build the buildings, all stuff. Everything has to be expensive. Buildings, still making buildings, making more advanced. To me, it's technology is the part of the reason why technology costs money.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's got to be expensive more to use it. So that's why I say it's evolving.
Yeah,
See, like this, like evolving.
It makes no sense.
It's like
to
this.
me.
It's like the end, like the early days. It was cheap, poor.
Mm-hmm.
Evolve. It's keep growing. It's too much. Like when you can just
if you compare 2010 to now, 2010 was different.
No, when I see it's like this, 20, 30 years now it's gonna be more expensive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true.
People are just
To
greedy.
me, it makes no sense.
Yeah.
Why is it going up? Because is it the country developing? Is that why?
No, there's not. It's the companies.
And then you said the US dollar is pretty much trash
It's
now
trash.
too.
It does not hold value no more. And BRICS nation's going to take over. I don't care what nobody
The
say.
billions of other opinions and fade away into the background noise. Things go by so fast we're unable to process them. Humans just not built to deal with so much at once, and as a result, hyperreality all seems like a blur. Traveling through it all so fast that you only get a sense of the underlying emotions. The algorithms manipulate this further and push content that makes people feel self-conscious or negative to the top. It doesn't help that we're going through a global crisis right now, the brink of a third world war, economic catastrophe, the world's a mess, and Gen Z knows they're the ones who are going to have to clean it all up. And so applying Baudrillard's work to our world today illuminates the reasons behind how absurd and unreal it can all seem. The replacement of reality with hyper.
Yeah, when you think about it, the boomers are going to be done. They're finished.
Money's a good example. Generally, people's wages and the amount of money they earned was linked to the quality.
It's like this. I see it now. Look, I see it now. It's like this. The boomers say, "Oh well, you Gen Zs, we're retired. We're old now. Here's the problem. We can't do it. So Gen X, solve it." Gen X say, "Oh crap, we got all this corrupted things that we're seeing right now in this world from the boomers, the plans."
Yeah.
It's like telling this. The boomers telling Gen X, "You do this, you do this, do this, do this. We're done. We're finished. We're tired dealing with this bull crap. Your turn now, Gen X. Your turn." And then later, millennials. And then I see that's why I said we're the worst, because Gen X, Gen Z don't want to work. To me, Gen X was the last working people.
Look,
Millennials.
Look, Gen Z is good. Look, when we get old, like, I don't know, 60s years old, it's going to be a clown show.
It's going to be a big clown show in the world.
We got Gen Z, who's just the most, right now, the clowniest people, except for Alpha. Yeah. They're young. All right. As the Gen Z are the clowniest ones. Even millennials are clowns as well. And then after that, more generations come, and then Gen Z got old. I wonder how that generation.
It's going to be a nightmare. Yeah.
Who knows if the world is even a thing at that time.
But how productive they were. Today, how much you earn is entirely based on your social status within the system. It's been to the benefit of both CEOs and the top OnlyFans models. They both earn their money not through the quality of their work or what they produce, but through their position at the top of the hierarchy. The focus on speculative value, as opposed to real value, has aided scam artists and snake oil salesmen as well. It's only in our modern world that Sam Bankman-Fried could convince top hedge funds and millions of people to invest in a Ponzi scheme. The result of all of this is a society which puts far more focus on equality.
I was not a big fan of FTCs. I was kind of sus about it.
Up the ladder becomes even harder, despite the appearance of a constant march towards a more liberal society. So how do you survive in a world like this? Well, there's a few different routes people take. Lots of people detach entirely, completely leaving the desert of the real and retreating entirely into hyper-reality. It isn't an active choice, of course. The passive nature of consumption just goes hand in hand with the inaction of depression. Simple things like exercise and living life become harder and harder to do. As you sink into these lower levels, the nasty loop is that doing these things is what you need in the first place to break you out, but the more depressed someone is, the more difficult they become. There isn't one single cure to this, or some collection of words that will solve it. Everyone's journey is their own, and what people do have is their own personal strength and the people around them. Finding a natural reason to break free and carry on is completely different though. It's something philosophers have tried to solve for thousands of years, with middling results. Today, there's a few general approaches people try to use to find some sort of meaning. One approach has been championed by people like Andrew Tate to embrace hyperreality to the fullest. If social status is all that matters, then why not give in and make it the meaning behind your life as well? Andrew Tate calls this breaking out of the Matrix. But really, it's more similar to what Cypher did in the film than Neo. When he portrayed Neo and decided to go back into the Matrix, he represented embracing hyperreality. He accepted that even if the steak he was eating and the life he was living was fake and meaningless, he might might as well enjoy the pleasures of it. Building social status, buying Bugattis, living in Dubai, having empty encounters with multiple women might sound like a 15-year-old boy's dream life, but in reality, that life never existed in the first place. It's an idealized image with little basis in true reality, expressed through heavily edited snippets and highlights.
See, look, all this lifestyle is, to me, they call the Matrix how it is. What, 9 to 5 is the Matrix or whatever. To me, that's the Matrix as well.
Yeah.
Because, look, yeah, you're all free and all that. But look, is that all you guys care about? Is that all you think about? Meaning of life is the lifestyle, the girls,
that's not
the things you buy, your jewelry, or whatever.
That's foolishness when I think about it.
Like that.
It's like this. Would they doing this to make money crazy?
Yeah.
They don't want to feel no pain, suffer. They want to like feel like very. It's like saying they don't want to feel the pain.
Yeah.
But us humans, we need the pain. Because look, they don't want to feel no more like, like like sad, like they don't want to feel like they want attention. I think it's like attention seeking.
Like the lifestyle. Look, yeah, it's very hard to go there. Right?
Yeah, it's hard.
Some people use some sussy stuff to get there.
Yeah, there's a lot. They do a lot.
To me,
and not a lot of people. A lot of people are gurus too. So
yeah, like to me, this lifestyle, like all this is garbage.
Yeah.
To me, like the Tates, they love this lifestyle. Yeah. And then I saw Tristan Tate talk about Ben Shapiro. He's saying Ben Shapiro's lifestyle is garbage.
Right.
Like
see, look,
what?
Yeah, like this. Who cares about your opinion of other people's lifestyle? Like, see, like Ben Shapiro, look, he don't got this lifestyle. Mm-hmm. And he's successful. Like, to me, successful is not woman and money. Mm-hmm. Right? There's some people successful say, yeah, man. So I'm happy, bro. Like, I'm successful. Successful when I think it's not only money. That's the wrong thing what people think. Successful is to me is the one that which lifestyle you wanted, not money, the six figures. That it's the lifestyle you want. Which one you want to do in life? Well, you want to live this place.
I mean, there's people who want that in life.
Yeah, but that's horrible. Oh, that can not unfulfill your heart. I'm sorry, it's the truth. I'm just saying out there.
Yeah, because they care about.
They only care about. Yeah, they only care about that material things will not. Yeah, the material things will not satisfy you long term. You will see when you get old. You say, "Wow, all that for waste of time." Horrible.
And even if you could live a life like that, it wouldn't add any real meaning to your life.
Yeah, it's no meaning.
You have no consciousness. You're not connected to any deeper purpose within inside of you.
Yeah.
There will always be a faster and more expensive car to buy or a larger mansion to own. Treating everything and everyone like an object of social status also justifies awful and abusive behavior. Any belief system that reduces people into something else inevitably leads to tragedy. Whilst embracing hyperreality isn't the answer, rejecting it completely isn't either. It would sound ideal to just take your loved ones and go live in a cabin somewhere. You'd be free to live an authentic life in nature.
Like that. Oh, look! I told you the mountains.
Look at that. That to me is like wow.
It's hard to convince others to join you, and by cutting out a community,
because that's how it is back then. How people lived back then.
Hierarchy of needs. Deleting social media might be a less drastic solution, but you'll still be living in a hyper-real society.
That's true. A lot of people everywhere.
Society in these ways might be the right option for some. For others, it's life denying. It's a decision born out of the fear of suffering what society has become. Would it not be better to work within society and at least try and make it a bit better, rather than just leaving it to the rest of the world? When the world faced a similar crisis of meaning 150 years ago, Nietzsche saw that the only escape from nihilism was to create your own values. They can't be based in hyper-reality, and as curated collection of other people's experiences. The only thing that actually exists is your own viewpoint and your own perspective. That world is the only one you have even limited control over. Nietzsche believed that the highest values we can create come from the innate human will to power. And what he meant by this is still up for debate, but it doesn't mean simply forcing everything and everyone into submission. Instead, one interpretation of this will to power is how well you can shape the world around you. To have power in your life, the better you can make it, and the more it suits your own personal purposes, the more power you have. So analyze everything you read, hear, or see that could impact your decisions. Think about the motivations behind the person saying it. Decide whether it aligns with your own personal world and whether it can make it better. If it can, embrace it and see what happens. If not, discard it. The world is going through a crisis and it'll need strong, principled people to see it through. The only thing you can do though is worry about your own world and the people around you. The rest is up to fate. It's times of crises that breed strong people. Make sure you're one of them. But if you're interested in finally defeating your social media addiction once and for all, I think you'll find my community of interest.
Is that
See,
it?
I'm actively working with like-minded people in my school to destroy internet addiction. With one below. On YouTube, I've already discussed on modernity, philosophy, YouTube, $1 a month, and I know this is.
Oh yeah, that'll be it, guys. That'll be it. Pretty interesting video here. So yeah, guys, just stop. Like he said right there. Great advice. Stop worrying about other people's worlds. Let them get wrecked. Care about your world. Care about follow your world, and also do like I said. Like I always tell people to say this: if people's doing the same thing what they're doing, do the opposite. Because I feel like, because like if you're living that lifestyle, like everyone's like on the phone doing this too much, social media too much, only talk about celebrities, all that stuff. They're not happy. I know they're subconscious. They're not happy.
What the heck are they gonna do? Let's say somehow they sleep.
Yeah.
And then they wake up. Next thing they notice, it's freaking 70 AD now.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh crap. What the heck happened? Why am I here?
Yeah.
What's going on? How the heck are they gonna live now?
They're
gonna be like, I can't live without social media.
Yeah.
I can't live without all these things that I care about. See, that to me, look, it's true. The old generation built all this. Now the people now are treating it horrible.
Yeah.
Like it's not good. And the way how people think like we need technology, we don't need technology basically.
Yeah, we don't.
We can live without technology.
Yeah. And people say we need it that bad. No,
we can there was
people back then, without technology, so we can do as well.
Without cars.
Yeah.
And look, the only benefit with like cars and
it's faster,
it's just faster, but you can debate. Some people say people are getting lazy.
Yeah.
But there's another debate. They say you can travel around the world and all that, because back then they took a long time to travel.
Would take months, 9 months to go to California to Texas or something like that.
When they wanted to preach, they go on a boat. And it takes a long time, and it's dangerous too. Like the freaking ocean is moving like crap, and the storms. Yeah, just to go to a place where you want to go. And then now it's better. I will say that it is better now. Yeah, but people
making it worse. They're not grateful enough because it's easier. Why they're complaining?
Yeah, like technology, like you can talk to anyone around the world basically. Like it's more access and all everything, that. That's what technology did. But now I see it. There's also a disadvantage to that because you see this like Gen Z and millennials getting wrecked by all this mess.
So I think that will be it, guys. About this video, it's pretty good one. And the next podcast is going to be about homeschool. The difference from the public schools. That should be our episode 41. Stay tuned on that. I'm going to upload this one this week.
30 minutes is insane.
Yes. It's pretty. But yeah, guys. And also subscribe to the channel. Like the video. Put the noties. And share with your supporters, your friends. Because, I want to at least hit 50 subscribers. We're stuck at, 43? We're not going to hit it. Yeah, we're not going to hit it. Okay, but anyway, guys, see you in the next video. Peace out.